Stage 1. Facing reality. Fifth day. Environmental suffering. Facing consequences. Response. The aim is to acknowledge our weak responses to the crisis and to trust the ability of our heart to contribute more positive responses.
The first scripture reading is taken from the book of the prophet Isaiah, chapter 58, verses 9b to 12. If you remove the yoke from among you, the pointing of the finger, the speaking of evil, if you offer your food to the hungry, and satisfy the needs of the afflicted, then your light shall rise in the darkness, and your gloom be like the noonday. The Lord will guide you continually, and satisfy your needs in parched places, and make your bones strong. And you shall be like a watered garden, like a spring of water, whose waters never fail. Your ancient ruins shall be rebuilt. You shall raise up the foundations of many generations. You shall be called the repairer of the breach, the restorer of streets to live in. The second scripture reading is taken from the Gospel of Mark, chapter 13, verses 31 to 32. Jesus said another parable. The kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed that someone took and sowed in his field. It is the smallest of all the seeds, but when it has grown, it is the greatest of shrubs, and becomes a tree, so that the birds of the air come and make nests in its branches.
If you are doing this preparation session alone, I invite you to focus on the phrase or word from the scripture just read, that has or have struck you, and spend a few moments reflecting on this word or phrase. On the other hand, if you are doing this in a group, I invite you now to echo or read aloud the phrase or word from the scripture that has or have struck you. All participants are given ample time to echo the word or phrase that touched them. Commentary. The prophet Isaiah maintains that mutual respect and justice are the key to the rising of the light in the darkness, and, we may add, to the rebuilding of the environmental ruins caused by human selfishness. Today, we are called to be instruments of God our Father, so that our planet might be what He desired when He created it, and correspond with His plan for peace, beauty, and fullness. Laudato Si number 54. The problem, continues the Pope, is that to such a call we give weak responses. Specifically, first, we lack leadership, capable of striking out on new paths, and meeting the needs of the present. Laudato Si number 53. Second, in global summits on the environment, economic interests easily end up manipulating information, so that nationalistic plans and gains will not be affected. Laudato Si number 54. Third, the economic powers continue to find ways to minimize the problem. Such evasiveness serves as a license to carrying on with our present lifestyles and model of production and consumption. Laudato Si number 59. Jesus, through the parable of the mustard seed, invites us to expand our vision and to trust our capacity for inclusiveness and global care. In this regard, Pope Francis writes, in some countries, there are positive examples of environmental improvement. Rivers, polluted for decades, have been cleaned up. Native woodlands have been restored. Landscapes have been beautified. Thanks to environmental renewal projects, beautiful buildings have been erected. Advances have been made in the production of non-polluting energy, and in the improvement of public transportation. These achievements do not solve global problems, but they do show that men and women are still capable of intervening positively. For all our limitations, gestures of generosity, solidarity and care cannot but well up within us, since we were made for love. Laudato Si number 58.
Guide questions for personal reflection and sharing. What other weak responses to environmental crisis in today's society am I aware of? In what ways am I also contributing weak responses, especially by means of indifference or evasiveness? Which positive responses do I recommend? And what can I personally contribute in my capacity?